host Nelson with Kansas City Business Association, and today we have a guest on, Ms. Donetta Watson. She runs the organization, the Mastermind Group. She's going to tell you a little more about that in detail, give you a little history about who she is, what her experience is, and how she's serving the business community. Without further ado, welcome to the Kansas City Business Association show.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos. I greatly appreciate this opportunity to talk to your audience about the Black MasterMind Group. This is an honor, and so I don't take it lightly. This time you're giving on your platform, Kansas City Business Association. It's our business endeavors are somewhat in alignment. We serve the urban cores across America, entrepreneurs in areas that do not predominantly see success. Apologize, I'm sorry, I lost my camera there. I do not see success. And what I've come to find, there are some specific reasons why our community does not see the level of success in our businesses as our counterparts. Who I am the founder of the Black MasterMind Group. I have a doctorate in entrepreneurial studies, a master's in quality systems management, a marketing minor, and BA in HR, human relations. And it has been this journey that I've been on to understand business at a different level. Began because of my own entrepreneurial experience. I was a former management statistician for the federal government, oversaw medical research studies, economic research studies, studies on crime in the entire time that I worked for the federal government. And my responsibilities were quite huge to oversee the development of a lot of the programs on data collection and statistical analysis of what is happening in America, solely by the numbers. And when our office closed in 2011, I went straight into entrepreneurship. And I was teaching entrepreneurship at a college level. I was an adjunct professor. I was an administrator over a business school. And I had the education. I've been in a business that was successful for over 25 years when I became a full-time entrepreneur. I took my severance, my savings, and everything I had, over $300,000, and went into entrepreneurship. And my business was not successful because I did what I see our community do. And so I stand in a different seat solely because of my background. I bootstrap my business, and I see that happening predominantly in our community. And I want to tell you, Carlos, that is the demise of Black business. When we don't adequately capitalize the business before we start the business, and we do not employ the strategies that our counterparts are using in business to move the business to the next level. I became a branch manager for a lending group. And what I found is what we predominantly are not running businesses by the definition of business. It is an exchange of goods and services for a price that produces a profit. We understand part one of the definition of business, but part two of the definition of business, we have not mastered. And my job is to teach our community how to master all the aspects of running a viable, fundable, lifelong wealth strategy-based business model. Not to create a job for ourselves, but to create an organization that produces impact for our community. We have the highest unemployment rate in our community solely because entrepreneurs today, 96% of the business models in the marketplace today, in the Black community, employ absolutely no one. Only 4% of the business models that exist in our community create opportunities for people that look like them. Every ethnic group creates opportunities. I don't like the word job because that's the journey of broke, J-O-B. I say opportunities to expand someone's life, to move them out of poverty, to help them to take their own skill sets and produce a livelihood, opportunities for people. We are the only ethnic group that does not create jobs, opportunities for people. Asians employ Asians, Hispanics employ Hispanics, Middle Easterners employ Middle Easterners, Jews employ Jews, and white people employ white people. The Black people do not create opportunities for our own people.
Can I cut you off for a minute?
Absolutely.
All right. Uh, how long have you known Mr. Nelson?
Known you. You?
Yeah.
I've known you now probably 5 years.
All right. Had you do you feel that our company has grown, Cascade Media Group?
Well, I haven't. When I left from working with you for a short period of time, I saw you working toward bringing people on board, and that is what every organization should be looking to do in this new era of the expulsion of DEI opportunities.
All right. Well, there's another point I'm trying to get across. As I don't know whether you know this, that Cascade Media Group has been in business consistently since '08.
Mm-hmm,
And that's one of the longest consistent business in Kansas City at this point.
mm-hmm,
All
mm-hmm.
right. Now, the people that come on and even bringing you on, I look at Cascade Media Group because of the financial situation that most, uh, and I would almost say all Black businesses face a lack of capital. And that's why you find no matter what level development or whatever, they have white business partners because they don't really have the necessary capital. But uh, for the most part, I'm saying you can. Yeah.
Well, I'm a statistician, so I work with numbers.
All
And
right.
so we do data research so that we can have a real true narrative of what is actually happening in the Black community. Unfortunately, we are comprised of what is the minority community, which is comprised of white women, lesbian, gay, transgenders. It is comprised of Middle Easterners,
But I
Asians.
understand that that's not we're a Black network.
Yes, sir.
Everything that we do, we don't say we Black or anything. It's in our own voice, our own
Mhm.
experience.
But what I'm saying is that you are one of the 4% of businesses that are creating opportunities. 96% of Black businesses that report their financials and show that they are running a business enterprise have zero employees
And
in
I
their
understand that.
organization.
That's not the point I was trying to make. I might have zero employees, but this platform, I look at it as we present opportunity. Anyone that deals with us on this platform, we are presenting opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
and it's I don't. You sometimes you can't do things in from a financial standpoint, but you're in position to provide opportunities that can help,
Oh,
especially on the
absolutely.
level that we're doing with all these different tabs,
Yes.
politics.
Well, and I'm not talking about your organization. And
Well,
so
I'm
I
not
want to
saying that. I'm
clarify.
putting the
I'm
thought out for
absolutely.
other people that you might can't contribute financially, but as you were saying about your education and not just measuring the education and the experience. The education and them degrees are one thing. Getting in real business with your own money,
Absolutely.
that's a whole different
Absolutely. And,
story.
and I'm grateful to God that I have both. I was a 25-year entrepreneur before I became a full-time entrepreneur. I call it a dualpreneur, running or working for an organization during the day and running your business evenings and weekends. I did that for 25 years before I became a full-time entrepreneur. So I had a business reputation. I had an identity in the marketplace. I had a customer and client base. And I left the government with money. So I had everything that people say you need to be successful in business. But what I was lacking was the level of financial knowledge. There are systems in business, strategies in business. And when we don't know what we don't know that we need to know, it limits the business capacity to grow and become extremely impactful in the community. And so, what we see predominantly are mom and pop business ideas flourishing. With that 3 million people exodus from the employment records post COVID, those 3 million people went directly into entrepreneurship. But what we are seeing post that mass exodus is those people are now searching for jobs to get back into the marketplace because they took those COVID relief dollars and started the business. Starting is not the problem. Stabilizing that thing is the greatest challenge. So predominantly statistics are proving out that our doors will stay open for 18 months because that is how long our cash will last in these new endeavors that we're launching. Numbers are showing that it's on average 18 months that a business will remain viable. And those numbers are staggering because we predominantly in the Black community have single women head of household business ownership. And that is perpetuating poverty at a higher level. We are seeing those doors close and we are seeing the impact on the single head of household Black female because we had a 600% increase in Black female entrepreneurs post COVID. And the brunt of that is impacting our children in our communities.
Well, listen. I agree with all of that that you say. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. My thing is, you can ask really anybody on the street in the city, homeless person, what the problem is. They can tell you what the problem is. Statistics and all of that. They definitely mean something. And most Black people, uh, we, let me be careful on this. The cognitive dissonance that you apply, they say, well, I think it should be this. Two and two is four, it's not five. And they say, I think it. But at the same time, Cascade Media Group and my philosophy, we all know what this is, but block voting and group economics. And both of them require numbers because that's what you're talking about, numbers. So I'm more like, even while I'm connecting with you, we have a disconnect in our community and this competitiveness, and that stops us from reaching the goal that we should be looking to ascertain. And it's not just on voting in elections, using those numbers productively to assist us in other areas. And on that group economics,
Absolutely.
when we are not working together to say, and it's not even us spending our money in one place, that's one issue, but all of these different companies right in our community, what are they giving back to the community? And when there's no discussion on things that actually can change policy and our financial situation, I think we're chasing our tails. And
That's, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry
no,
to
go
interrupt.
ahead.
Well, that's what the Black Mastermind Group is for. We teach principles of collaborative business. When we don't know what it looks like and we can explain what it looks like and what it feels like and what it smells like, tastes like, sounds like to do collaborative business, we will never produce collaborative business models. So, what we in the mastermind group, we teach the art of collaboration. What does it look like to collaborate with another business? What does it look like to work together? What does it look like to support one another? What does those endeavors and those ventures and those opportunities look like? And how should you be properly positioned before you engage in an opportunity? We've not been taught what it actually is to collaborate. So we create those opportunities to teach and train and mentor and coach entrepreneurs that have never been in networking environments, who have never attended. And again, we work in the urban core of America, places where like Kansas, where the state says there isn't any opportunities with doing business with anyone in the urban core. And I beg to differ. There's still brilliance in the urban core.
Can you excuse me for cutting in, but I'd like you to tell me what your organization has for 2025 and what's your outlook? How do you feel things will be, especially with a new administration coming in? I don't know how much you keep up with what's going on.
Oh, I keep up. I'm just not, I've taken a position that I won't be addressing political things because it's important to stay focused on our mission. If indeed statistics are true, and business economists and analysts say by time of 2053, the Black community will have zero net worth. From what our trajectory, the pathway we're on, the direction we're heading, it is likely for that to become a reality if indeed we continue on the course that we are on today. My job is to teach a different pathway. My job is to help create more businesses that can become sustainable in the Black community so that we can serve the Black community and create opportunities. So our mastermind group has a mastermind business program. We teach entrepreneurial financial literacy, which is polar opposite to personal financial literacy. In our personal lives, we are to use cash for everything. We're not to carry debt in our personal life, but in business, debt is a financial strategy, minimizing taxation and giving the business the opportunity to move through the phases of business and become not stay in startup mode forever, but to move from startup to stabilization, which is the second phase of business. Once the organization is stable, it is producing an expected amount of revenue, and it is managing its costs and meeting business industry margins, then the organization can become sustainable. What is sustainability? Sustainability is when you are positioned to grow, not when you are growing, not when you are scaling, but you are positioned to grow. That means every facet of the organization can manage growth. Growth is the most expensive period of time in business, and the majority of businesses die in growth because it is so expensive. So if a business is going to grow, it has to be positioned and prepared. Growth or scaling, the fourth phase of business, happens automatically when all conditions are well and the business has been positioned and structured to grow. It will automatically move the way it's supposed to move. So, what we are teaching is all of this requires you to understand where your money's going. Where's it coming from? How much does it cost to do business? Every month, there is cost associated with the business, and how do you manage that cost? If margins say a successful, viable business can operate on 65% of revenue, and 35% of revenue must be counted as profit, and profit is never to be spent, it must be maintained on the books. How does a company get there? These are the rules, the regulations, and requirements for any business that is wanting to entertain capital. Now, capital is not just a loan. Capital is investment dollars that come from investors. Capital is equity dollars that come from partnerships. They're all different. Capital is a loan from your grandma or your mama. That's capital. But when anybody accesses capital, you've got to pay it back. So how are you going to pay people back if you don't know what it's costing you to run the business day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, semi-annual and annually? Identifying what does it cost for me to do business helps you to gauge where you're positioned, and then it gives you the power to understand how to move. A business should move. It should move through all the phases of growth, just like a human being does. We're not an infant forever. We're not a toddler forever. We're not an adolescent forever. We're not a young adult, and we're not a grown person forever. Eventually, we're old and we die. Well, the business goes through life cycles as well. And now that we know this, we want to help as many entrepreneurs as possible position themselves correctly so that they can make an impact in the community. So we don't have to go to 30 minutes away to Overland Park. We don't have to go to Lee Summit. We can go into our own community and purchase what we need. We can support the businesses in our own community when we understand what we have and when our community is educated of the importance of where we spend our money. We cover all of these topics in our program. We believe entrepreneurs have the first responsibility to buy Black. Black entrepreneurs have the first responsibility to buy Black. How dare we not understand that every dollar we take out of our community is a dollar that we are propping up everybody else's community. We've made.
I think that's perfect. Hold it. I think that's perfect to end this on. And as I've said earlier in the conversation, my firm belief is you cannot implement any of these strategies that any person feels will take us to another level before you implement the strategy of being able to connect with the bottom 2/3 of your community, because
Absolutely.
that's the only way you can get numbers. And I mentioned 20 today, the inauguration, and things are going to change. New administration are going to be changing policy that are going to be affecting the education system, affecting the financial system.
Everything will be impacted.
All right. And so none of these things can be done as it relates to our community without being in touch with our community. And Cascade Media Group has the only Black-owned digital media company in the United States that is capable of doing that at a moment's notice. Because if you look at what we do, you don't see sponsors on what we do. We're not driven by how the market operates. I feel if you produce something that really has value, it'll take care of itself. But we're living in a atmosphere where Europeans have colonized the planet, but they have colonized information also. And the field that you have all this expertise in, that's what has allowed them to uh, create these systems that we're caught up in.
Well, honestly, we're not involved in a lot of the
Right, right.
systems,
Well, I'm saying it's not. It
that's
wasn't
the
created for us, but I'm
well,
saying
it's not white systems. It is the financial
I,
sector
I said
is,
systems, the financial system, the education system. I didn't say.
but we can't operate outside of those systems because our
Well,
country is governed by them.
let me say this. That is why the black newspapers came about, operating outside of the
But we
system.
didn't operate outside. We created our own. And so we must build our own table and we must put our own chairs up under the table if we as a community are going to stay viable. We cannot opt out of, we can create our own system, our own banks. Everything that we had post slavery, we
But
predominantly do not have today.
I'm asking you, was I talking foreign just now, or was I talking Japanese?
I think what you were saying wasn't explained properly for people to understand. Our responsibility in our community is to create our own take our culture and allow our culture to stimulate our economy. And then when we have created our own economy, then and then only will the systems at B and the people and the larger segment will listen to us. No one is going to listen to a broke person.
I don't believe that.
Oh, and, I do. It is very evident.
I don't think the Black Lives Movement started, and I'm not even in favor of all of that type stuff. I don't think Martin Luther King was broke. I think.
Oh no, he wasn't. Martin Luther King had over $1 million of finances that came into his organization. $1 million is
no money.
Back in the 50s, $1 million was 3 times more effective than what it can produce and purchase today. $1 million is equivalent to $3 to $5 million in today's economy.
I'm talking about numbers.
Well, you're talking about numbers, but your numbers aren't
the only way you can get numbers in our community or any community is to communicate on some level.
Understood.
And to communicate on any level right now with the masses, you have to use the major media, and that costs billions of dollars.
Well, and I differ there because there are so many outlets.
All right.
There's so many outlets available, but we again must build our own table. There are so many opportunities today for us as Black people. The technology that exists today, we can capitalize on that technology. We can use, and I'm sorry, my computer is about to die. We can take the technology that actually Black people were engaged in the startup of a lot of the technology.
What does that have to do with coming together?
That's how we get our voice out.
We can fly to the moon.
That's how we get our voice out. We get our voice out. We get our positioning.
We create opportunity. Like Nancy Reagan, just say no. We can get our voice out. How do you get your voice out? To the
marketing. Marketing gets
that doesn't cost money.
Yes, it does cost money.
And that's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying.
Well, if you allow me to tell you how you get money, then you won't be in this position. You'll be able to. You'll be able to attract
the longest running digital media business
Carlos,
around. So I'm not.
I know I know this is how you engage, but
no, I'm saying
it's not beneficial.
Have real good discussion and then be able to come together. We don't have that.
Absolutely. Well, but to keep saying we don't have it,
discussion. It's
We
like,
must
I don't
create
like him.
solutions. When we say what we don't have, and we totally continually harp on what we do not have, and we are not actively engaged in being a solution in the area. There's so many
Solution.
people.
How
I
can
want
you
you to
come
allow
up
me.
with any solution
I
if you
want you to
can't
allow me to speak.
contact your people?
I
That's
want
all
you to
I'm
allow me to
asking you.
speak. I want you to allow me to speak. Your expertise is in marketing. My
Oh, my
expertise is in,
expertise is not in marketing.
well, what you
It's in
own.
communications.
Communications and marketing
That's
are
why
tools.
Trump has Elon Musk, the Facebook guy, Bezos.
And that's all technology.
Because communications and information controls pocketbooks and minds.
And what
And you
they
start
own are
there to
technology
communicate with
companies.
your audience. You can
They own
plan.
technology companies that
Yeah,
happen to
you have the
use
best plans if you can't put the
communication as a mode of reaching their audience. They are all technology companies. A segment that we are not as actively engaged in as our counterparts. My thing that I want the audience to hear, because I want them to hear there are many options and solutions to solve our problems. There is not one set thing that is impacting our community. There are multiple layers
Nobody's
of
talking
things that
about
are
that. We're on different pages.
we
You
are.
cannot implement
We
any
are.
strategy until you can connect with who you say you're representing. That
Well,
is number one, no matter what you're doing, finances, flying to the moon, or whatever. You cannot do anything until you connect. And I
okay.
get tired of different people leading the community in a direction that really we all know what that is. Now, the solution is being able to talk directly to your community. Our community has not been engaged since 2016 when Obama ran. Everybody on the streets knew what the message was, knew what they needed to do. Everybody, not just a few. And now,
But not everybody are entrepreneurs. My
yeah, well, I'm
mission
not
is
talking about
strictly,
entrepreneurs. I'm
but
talking about numbers, the thing that you said
but my
you are.
mission
To
and the
get
reason
new
I thought
numbers,
the
you
reason
have
I thought you asked me to come and talk to this audience is to tell them what we do.
you said what
My
your
mission is strictly to build entrepreneurs who create business models that produce economic impact in our community and to teach them how to engage with all that is available to help them not just start a business and remain in the community, remain a tool toward economic advancement in our community. That's
nobody is
why
not saying
I
you're
am
not doing
here.
that. That is neat. That's what
But
to me,
but
what you explained, really, you teaching them that what the colleges should be teaching them in business. From what I heard you explain
absolutely,
from the beginning. And
absolutely.
I'm not dickering with that because I know I've been in business all my life, and I know if you're gonna be in the system, you gotta know how that damn system works.
Absolutely.
Or you're not gonna even be able to get the financial or understand. I'm not arguing with none of that or what you do on that end. What I'm saying, that is powerful information. But if there's a platform that our youth and our entire body, just like the weekly newspapers 50 years ago, we all went there and we knew what everybody was doing. If you were selling pencils and they were selling peanuts, you knew that and you went and did business. That's all I'm saying. We have to have one meeting place. I'm not trying to lead anything on business or anything. I'm trying to get our community to understand that we have to work together. We have to have these classes because if you don't have these classes, to me, you be fake.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I
Well,
think there's a way
that's the
to
thing.
communicate to be able. There's power in understanding the value of differencing opinions, And because we don't know everything ourselves, it takes other people's information, insight, knowledge to help round out a full scale agenda.
But what
It's
I am
going to
saying is,
be a
you're right
large.
on that. But all I am saying is the information's there. The audience, if everybody's looking at it, they can decide. I'm not trying to make you decide on anything. I think it might give you a thought to say, "Oh, I wasn't looking at it that way." Anything you say, "Oh, I wasn't looking at it that way." All I am saying, it's important to have the information. Then, if you decide to do this or do that, you have enough information to make possibly an intelligent decision. All things are not Coca-Cola, but Coca-Cola sells, and you see everybody that sells soda has some form of what already works, not reinventing the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we got a minute and 13 seconds. I'll let you close out, my sister.
Well, I want to say to the listening audience, who are entrepreneurs and who is looking to create something that can be sustained and can be passed down to the next generation, that can become the legacy for your business and your family, then reach out to us. We are the Black Mastermind Group. Our website, theblackmastermindgroup.com. We teach classes 4 times a year. We are a micro loan program. We put our emphasis on structuring businesses that can remain in the community. And our job is to make sure that this journey for you is everything that God has ordained it to be in your life. Wealth and legacy is indeed your inheritance.
All right. And audience, let me tell you this. When I first met her, I thought she was the best thing since sliced bread on this business. And that's real talk. Y'all know that.
Oh, you being, that's strange.
I'm not sucking up. So, as we always say, when you invest in your community, you're really just.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.